Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. BC here. This is another episode of Supreme Being. If you guys follow me on Instagram at Bryan Casella, I also stream these online. So if you are ever following me on Instagram and you see me go live on Monday and Wednesday at this time, I'm streaming the podcast episode live. Sometimes I stick around for a Q&A. First and foremost, sponsored by Team BC, my real estate team. We're nationwide now. If you guys need anything real estate, you can contact me personally, or you can go to teambcsold.com. If you're interested in joining my team, potentially go to jointeambc.com. If you want to join eXp Realty and you want more information and you want to talk to me, go to partnerwithteambc.com, right? And schedule a call with us. If you like the video that you see on that page, please watch the video first. And lastly, my tribe, Modern Success. I highly recommend everybody who follows me, who wants access to more information and wants more support from me, more help, and a lot more things that I never share on this podcast or on YouTube or anywhere else. To join Modern Success, you can go to bryancasella.com and sign up there. It's definitely a thriving community. We do live events. We do a bunch of stuff, and it's really a very unique group and community of people that I guarantee you're not going to find anywhere else. All right. So let's begin, right? I thought about this podcast a lot, okay? And I want to give people, especially coming into 2021, right? 2021, we're still stuck in this whole coronavirus shit. Most places, at least like in California and New York and some of these states, were like extremely locked down. It's been that way since March. It's been almost a fucking year, very close to a year. And a lot of us are kind of tired of it, right? However, even though we may not be interacting with people as much in person, we're still interacting with people online. So what I'm going to talk about today extends to both. It extends to both, all right? And the main thing I want people to focus on for this year, at least through this episode, and I want them to take some information from it, but just make it like a focal point moving forward, at least for a little bit, for the foreseeable future. That way you can understand where I'm coming from, where a lot of my information leads back to, and the most important thing, all right? If you, and you have to listen to this, okay? Because this dawned upon me years ago, and my focus has always been this. When you're in this world, right, there's 0-point reality and 1-point reality, just so everybody understands the reference. 0-point reality is your imagination when you meditate, what you see on your phone. And 1-point reality is the physical plane where we all live, right here, okay? And a lot of times, the 0-point reality that we're experiencing, our perception of the 1-point reality gets distorted. So as an example, you get sent a video on your phone and you think, that's really happening. It's happening right now. And this is the world, right? Which is incorrect. All right. Now, at the end of the day, we're going to come back to this datum that I just gave you in the beginning. So listen, pay attention and remember that. All right. Moving forward, if you can, this is what you got to write down and highlight. If you can master human to human, person to person interaction, that is the key to freedom, prosperity, success, enthusiasm, happiness, and every other fucking thing you want in your life. Okay? Write that one down and remember it. Human to human interaction, person to person interaction. I'm going to cover a few rules, a few basic things for anybody to get today. This needs to be a focal point for you. Okay? How you affect other people on a daily basis, how many you affect on a daily basis, who you're communicating with on a daily basis, how you communicate with them on a daily basis. This is key. As an example, the realtors and salespeople who follow me, this is your moneymaker. Imagine a year from now, you're significantly better at your one-on-one interactions with people. Forget all the group theory and all this other stuff that I can talk about, just one-on-one interaction. So every person you come in contact with, you leave them better and different. Or at the very least, which I'll focus on today, your interaction with them is so different than their interactions with other people in this world that they cannot stop thinking about you. You will forever be burned in their brain. And anything that you spoke about in the conversation, they'll remember. So if you have something to offer, they'll remember that shit for a long time. Okay? That's what you have to remember. And I know when I come across people, whether they see my brand or I interact with people, I get this all the time, right? Let me give you an example of this in real life. I've met with people for the first time and we interact for 5 minutes or less. Then I go back to that location months later and someone's like, oh, you're Bryan, so-and-so who talked to you, man, has been talking about you ever since then and said some really good things about you. Fucking 5-minute interaction with the person. 5 minutes. And they're talking about me to that person for months. Obviously, I struck a chord. Okay. Now, am I saying I do this with every single person on the planet in every moment? No, I'm not perfect. Okay. But I do it an overwhelmingly, right? More often than not period of time, for sure, because of this concept that I'm going to cover today. Now, it's many pieces. This isn't the secret or one thing, it's many things. All right. But there's a lot of things that I want to discuss today that lead to that. That's what I want. Because regardless if you're just somebody who wants to socialize with a lot of human beings, you want to market and grow your business, something has to be done differently. So when someone says, how can I stand out and be different? This is it. It's not your fucking marketing flyer. Because you put a purple square on your marketing flyer as opposed to this guy's orange one, you're suddenly going to stand out. But everybody competes on that level. The information that I give, right, especially in private, we don't compete on that level. We're in a different fucking stratosphere. And that's where I want you to be, not like everybody else. Who wants to live like everybody else? I don't. By no means. The fact that everybody's an individual and unique already tells you we can't be living like everybody else, right? That is a root of suffering and many other things. So let me give you an example, right? Step one. Before we even get to what we can do differently, right? As far as like what comes out of our mouth and our motor responses and everything that we do. Okay. Think about typical day-to-day interactions that we have with other people, right? Okay. Think of some common threads and common themes that come up. One, when people interact, especially at the stranger level, what is it? Oh, hi or hello. How are you? Fantastic. How are you? Just that interaction right there. Hello, how are you? So if you want to start planting the seed, right? Let's zoom in on when you first receive the hello, how are you? What do we normally say? We don't even think anymore. We're just like, I'm doing fine. How are you? Or not too bad. Can't complain. It's always these like, again, average cookie cutter responses all the time. So if I'm going to give you a tool right now, it would be when you answer that question, answer it in a way that no one has ever heard before. Let me give you some examples. Number one, oh, hey, Bryan. Oh, hello, sir. How are you? Man, this has probably been, I kid you not, one of the best days of my life. How are you doing, man? Just right there. Now, every time I've said something like that, it's like, it takes a second for it to process in somebody's mind. It's like a robot. You see it short circuit. They're like, what? It's almost like they wanted to say what they were going to say because everyone else responds a different way. But now you just threw a wrench into the engine and now they have to actually come back here. They were in 0 point reality. They have to come back to 1 point reality, which is here, the physical plane. And now they have to actually genuinely interact with you. Before it was two pre-programmed robots interacting with each other. Now it's robot got presented a non-robot. And he's like, whoa, a non-robot. A non-robot, right? So now they have to interact with you. Just that alone already plants a seed. Okay? Now, before we continue down that line, another lesson for you is avoid that stuff, especially with strangers. If it's somebody you know, of course, hey man, how you doing? That's genuine. But if it's a stranger, stop asking them how they're doing. If you're going to ask that question, at least ask a variation of it that's different. Ask anything but how are you? Everybody asks that. And everybody knows you don't give a fuck. That's why on sales calls, I never ask that. Why would I ask that to a stranger that I don't know? It's not going to come off as genuine ever. Ever. Now, some people may disagree. Cool. That's fine, right? You're just hearing it from me. So moving forward, right? I give that answer. Now we have a different interaction. You're going to say, whoa, now my dude, you know what I just realized? I go off on tangents with people. I may even after that, when someone says, well, oh, best day of your life, what's going on? I would say, you know what, sir? Do you believe that things happen for a reason? Right? I just start mind fucking people with these different questions. Now, what I'm saying, it's not the words. It's the fact that I'm bringing this up in regular conversation, right? This is how you start, in quotes, and literally and figuratively, having impact on people. They need to, in their world, their blips on the radar during the day, you need to be a variance of that. I'm not in line. I'm at a different frequency or vibration. So when they come in contact with me, they respond because they're like, whoa, what's this entity? What's this thing? Energetically, it's different. Linguistically, it's different, right? Emotionally, it's hitting me different. I'm hitting them different on so many different angles just with that short little piece that I gave you that already now they're going to be more engaged or want to know more. Now, the key for everybody to understand is I do this all the time, especially in places that I frequent. All of you who go to restaurants, barbershops, any shop, or you frequent any place, a supermarket, if you're not leaving your imprint there, you're fucking up. You're fucking up. I've had people that I've met, owners that I've struck up relationships with just doing this because I do it at the employee level, and then I end up meeting everybody who I've asked to come be special guests and speak at my coaching events. And I always ask them, Gilbert, shout out to Gilbert, right, from the Element store, vegan store. I'm like, bro, how do we meet? He's like, well, you came into the store. I'm like, and how many of them do you have a relationship with? How many customers do you have a relationship and friendship like you do with me? And how many of them have invited you to their coaching to come speak and talk regularly and then do business with? He's like, well, none. Exactly. Now, did I do anything special? No. I just employed communication. This is it. I've been talking about this shit for fucking years, right? For years. And that's why I love Modern Success and Team BC because, man, we take this topic to the fucking next stratosphere. And I really dive deep on this subject because it's so important. It's so detailed yet simple at the same time, and it's crazy. Now we're barely scratching the surface right now, but just that, if you go around for a day and you say, I'm going to have 2 or 3 interactions like this, where I just answer, how are you differently? Boom. You're going to start having a different level of experience of life. Why? Because you're going to draw out a different version of people that normally they don't give to certain individuals, especially strangers. Now you're going to interact with them at a different level. It's going to be more comfortable and ding, ding, ding. It's going to be more genuine. Many people, oh, what's the key to making friends? It's this. What's the key to making business partnerships? It's this. What's the key to getting people's attention? It's this. Here's another one. Ask people questions about themselves, but in a different way. You know what I've been doing lately? Because right now it's a hot topic, right? I may not agree with the whole new year, new me bullshit, but it's a hot topic. And people right now in general, right, the first couple of weeks of January are more like, I want to make a change this year. So my topics are around that. But when I ask these people questions, I'll ask more than one, and I'm actually engaged and paying attention. Because although this is somewhat a part of normal conversation, how you are in that interaction will start triggering things in them. When I'm really focused, and by the way, I'm not on my phone, it's in my pocket or I put it down, and I'm looking them in the eyes and actually listening to what they're saying and engaging. Really? Wow. Okay. So this year you want to go for $1 million, man. So what's the plan? That's exciting. And I'm like, I'm into it with them. Damn it, $1 million? Are you the first one like in your family to make a million or even shoot for a million? That's really cool. What inspired you to do that? Why a million? Why not 1.5 or 800? What was it about a million? What was the first thought that popped into your mind before you said, I'm going to go for a million? Right? How long did it take you to put that to like pen to paper and really say, okay, I'm going to do this? You see, these are the type of questions I'm asking, but I'm engaged with this individual now and I'm taking genuine interest in what they're talking about. Now, do you have to do this with every single person? Of course not. See, but this again, how many people, right? And this has happened so much where I'll have a 5-minute interaction with somebody. And one of the things that they said stuck out is, yeah, you really listened to what I had to say. And I'm sitting there thinking, what? What? People don't fucking listen to you? They don't. They're on their phone. They're just waiting to say what they're going to say. They don't ask good questions. I ask fucking good questions. This is a part of being a salesperson. I do this with clients too. I'm not just skipping over shit. I want all the details. Give me the details, dude. I actually want to know. And it's not saying I want to know or I'm curious, right? Which you'll never hear me say. Hey, I'm curious, blah, blah, blah. I'll never say that. Your tone and the way you deliver it has to imply your curiosity, not you saying I'm curious, right? Which is something that's always been put in scripts that I don't get. It just comes off as disingenuine. It's not genuine. Hey, I'm curious. It's your tone that delivers curiosity. It's not the words. Really? Wow. How did you do that? Are you serious? right? That's how you talk to people. What do we do? Oh, really? Oh, cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm listening. Okay. That's how we acknowledge somebody. That's a piss poor level of acknowledgement. You don't realize it, many of you, but I've done this too. That's how you're acknowledging people in your mind. Many of us think we're a badass when it comes to acknowledging people, but if you were to record yourself and actually listen, and if you had it on video, you would realize how horrible you can be at acknowledging people. And it's not a surprise that they don't respond to you the way that you think. You're like, oh, I did everything right. It's like, no, 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 you didn't. Because I've made that mistake too. Now, does it take a little bit of effort to do this? Of course. Why? Because we're not doing it all the time. Now, most of my interactions actually are at that level. Am I perfect? No. But closer and closer, we're pushing that boundary. I just had to do the other day when I was in the market, pull up on me, like walk up to me and be like, hey, bro, like what, just randomly. He's like, what's the best type of meditation? And I didn't think, why is this guy talking to me? I just answered him. I was like, great fucking question, man. That's a fantastic question. I wish more people asked me that. And then we started talking. He's like, yeah, dude, I could tell by your presence that obviously you're more into this stuff, right? So I didn't say a word to this dude or make eye contact, but he felt it and he saw it and he noticed it. So he wanted to come talk to me. Stuff like that. Maybe not in that context, but stuff like that happens to me all the time. And I'm not sitting here surprised saying, why are people walking up to me? I know why they're walking up to me. It's obvious. It's how I carry myself. I seem approachable. I'm smiling. I'm relaxed. I'm a comfortable individual, even though I may not look like it to many of you. If you're in my presence, you're not going to feel put off or threatened. You're going to feel open because I smile and I carry myself in a very relaxed way. I make good eye contact. I acknowledge people, right? I'm not walking around pissed off and grunting and beating my chest. But even our interaction, that short interaction with that guy, I can tell he left like, okay, cool. He probably didn't expect me to respond the way that I responded. And I acknowledged him right away. I wasn't like, oh, here's this creep fucking trying to talk to me in the supermarket. I was like, hey, what's up, man? I was like, that's a great question, dude. I wish more people asked me that. And we started talking. I was like, you got a minute right now, man? Boom, boom, boom. Hey, get this book, do this, do that. Cool. What have you tried so far? Really? How long have you been doing it? I took complete interest in him to where I asked him more questions than he asked me, and he approached me. But how many of us will just either not respond there or again, you're giving off signals. Even though in your mind you would love for that to happen, you're giving off signals that don't make you approachable. Or when you start responding to people, you make faces and do stuff like that. Now, if you're going to sit here and tell me you don't feel comfortable, fair. You need to put yourself in those positions more and approach people until you get comfortable. Social interaction between human beings in today's society, we have to get over this I'm not comfortable shit. You know why it's like that? Number one, because we don't fucking do it. But number two, the media that people consume, pick any media, paints a false picture of what the world is like. I've been to many places on this planet. I've been to different countries. I've talked to people from all walks of life. And I can tell you the average person on this planet and everywhere I went is pretty fucking decent and cool. They're not angry. They're not racist. And they're not all this other shit that it's been painted to be. Okay. I was brought up being told that people that had money were douchebags. Most people who I've met who have money are actually good people who work their fucking ass off to have the money. I've met people from all kinds of cultures and different countries, speak different languages. Again, I'm speaking from experience. I've lived in South America, okay? I've lived there. I worked with my uncle for like a year and a half, 2 years. I stayed there when I finished my basketball career. So I have experience living in a third world country, okay? So from an economic standpoint, I can tell you living in the States is fucking fantastic. And for sure, everybody that lives in the States, if we're going to throw around that word privilege, we're privileged here, no matter what you may think about this country. Okay. But people are naturally and overwhelmingly decent. I went door to door in the best and worst neighborhoods in Los Angeles. And I can tell you the average person is not angry and emotional. They're cool. And I'm speaking to you from having knocked on literally tens of thousands of residential doors here in Los Angeles and all around Los Angeles. Now, all of that has allowed me to build a certain level of comfort. And gather experience, which molds my perception That's why I interact with the world and people differently than most. That's one of the downfalls I think of like social media is when people interact, their communication is very poor and they're at each other's throats from the comfort of their home. So like, oh, everybody from this state is a piece of shit, or everybody from that country is fucking crazy. No, dude, you talk to one person and you don't know what's going on. Just like if I knock on a door and somebody has a bad response, what happened the moment before I knocked on the door? What if they just got a phone call that their mom died or that their sister got shot or someone has cancer and then I knock on the door? Of course, if I get some bad reaction, I don't know that that happened. So why would I make the assumption that they're mad at me or that it was something about me when it's not? You see? And so many of us fuck ourselves up here when we don't have that answer, yet we make assumptions and we fill in the blank with what we think is correct. Now, what I'm describing, I believe, is the number one form working on this is really just social dynamics. It really is on a general level, right? Because normally when you talk social dynamics, you're thinking the dating world, pickup, which is one subsect of social dynamics. It's about human to human interaction and mastering that. If everybody focused on this and this was taught in school, the world would be a completely different place because proper communication would be had between people. So, what can you do in the meantime as we wrap this up? Work on your techniques, master your communication, be the example of what good communication is, and watch how the world will change because societal change begins at the individual level and it ripples from there. So, we have to take the torch, take responsibility, and start fixing this shit or improving or being the shining example, regardless of what happens in the process. Because I've had a lot of people say you're wasting your time and blah, 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 blah. I don't give a fuck what they have to tell me. Okay. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end it here. Appreciate you guys watching. I like keeping these episodes short and sweet. That way you can listen to it when you're on a quick drive, 20, 30 minutes here. If you're in LA, sorry, maybe I need to make a special podcast for you guys because your drives are an hour, hour and a half with all the fucking traffic. But maybe not lately because everything's locked down, right? Appreciate everybody who's listening. Shout out to Modern Success. If you guys want more information about Modern Success, you can go to bryancasella.com or you can message me. Shout out to Team BC, right? We're nationwide. If you want an opportunity of possibly joining the team, go to jointeambc.com and schedule a call with the regional leader that's there. This podcast is on every major podcast platform. We also have a YouTube channel if you'd like to see it in the video format. That's it for this one, guys. Every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right. Peace out.